Hello, everybody. This is Question Mark, and it is currently February 16th. It is a Wednesday, and we are between the pre-release and the release of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. But what happens all the time, all year round, regardless of what sets are coming out, is secret layers. I keep ordering secret layers when I think I can afford to, and when I'm interested in what's inside. And I have 3 of them here that are unopened that I'd like to open on camera today and discuss the cards inside. So join me if you will. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, that we have a kind of conversational tone here where I like to talk about the various cards inside and how they're used, especially in Commander. So that's what we're going to do. This is, of course, the newer packaging for Secret Layers, which is much smaller and is pretty much all cardboard. So you can compare that to the much larger packaging that Secret Layers used to come in, where they took up more than twice as much space, and therefore cost more in shipping, more materials, more stuff to recycle at the end of the day, and so people said that it was wasteful, especially since, the actual product being shipped is about, this many cards usually. So if it's like an ounce, if it's like 4 or 5 cards or something, why the huge unnecessary packaging? You do need to have packaging that is bulky enough to make sure that the cards don't get damaged in transit. And there are definitely reports of these cards showing up to people damaged in some cases. Things happen in manufacturing sometimes, things happen in shipping. And my understanding is that Wizard of the Coast has been pretty good about replacing these things when they are damaged, when people find them that way. So I'm not too worried about it. Just if I see any significant damage or anything really weird on one of these cards, I will be writing an email about it, seeing if I can get something done. But this is the, I believe it's pronounced Johannes Voss Secret Lair. So it's all art by that artist. And interesting, Whispered Memories by Johannes Voss. So I believe this Secret Lair is supposed to kind of tell a story of a Japanese shrine priest who goes on a date with an angel. But I think that there's something about she can't stay. She's an angel. She's not of Earth. So I think they go on a nice date together, and then she has to go. So Sanctum Prelate is the guy, I think. The priest, kind of. So it's a colorless and 2 white for a 2/2. As it enters the battlefield, choose a number. Non-creature spells with mana value equal to the chosen number can't be cast. And you can see that there's a shrine in the background. And we've got a Sakura Blossom Festival kind of thing going on. The cherry blossom. It's beautiful. Lots of pink. I don't play this card in any decks currently, and I doubt that I will. This card is somewhat valuable, if I remember right, in other formats, like Modern, perhaps. But, so it might be worth something, and it's just kind of pretty. It's not necessarily my style, but that's fine. Carpet of Flowers. This is the real reason why I bought the box altogether. Honestly, I've been having a hard time finding a good deal on a Carpet of Flowers. They're usually about $18 online, so finding this box set for, what was it, 30 or 20, something like that, $29.99, something like that, for Carpet of Flowers plus 3 other cards that put it way over the $30 mark. But this is the biggest one. And I think Carpet of Flowers, it's a CEDH staple. Just to go over what it does, green for an enchantment. At the beginning of each of your main phases, if you haven't added mana with this ability this turn, you may add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of islands target opponent controls. Winds through Silent Bloom. So I love this art. Let's get a real close-up there. There we go. Johannes Voss. Killed it. And that's the angel and the priesthood on their date. But also, I love that this is a modern printing of Carpet of Flowers, because I think it hasn't otherwise been reprinted since, what was it, Urza's Saga. And the old wording on it was left a little bit of interpretation to kind of figure out what it does. Like, it's not obvious to people that you can add the mana on your first main phase or your second main phase if you didn't do it on the first. So this kind of clarifies that a bit, I think. Yeah, very good. Now, is it good in other formats? I don't know. CEDH, definitely. Almost everyone's playing blue in CEDH. It's very, very common. In normal Commander, I think it's often enough that if you're trying to do a really, like, go fast green deck, that it still can be good. Like, I've been looking at maybe a Rafika the Many deck, an old classic there. We're getting this out on turn 1 could lead to casting the commander on turn 2. Because you've got green, obviously. The second land that you play is either white or blue, and you get at least 1 mana off of this, maybe 2, and you've got your commander. But anyway, it also comes with Sphere of Safety, which is, oh god, I love that art again. Beautiful. It's, straight out of an anime. Brushing hair against your face. So it's 4 colorless and a white for an enchantment that says creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays X for each of those creatures, where X is the number of enchantments you control. Now, I don't have an Enchantress style deck. I've never built one before. I've never been interested in building one that was focused on an enchantment theme because, well, they tend to be boring. They tend to be stop your opponent from doing stuff decks. And while I'm all for a little pillow for it as a supplement to a strategy, how do you kill people? What are you doing? Enchantments generally don't do it. When they do turn into creatures, they tend to be kind of medium-sized or not fly or anything like... those strategies tend to be really stacks-heavy, like people can't untap things and stuff like that. It's very frustrating, so I never really wanted to. But with Kamigawa having the new legendary Shrine Commander, I'm interested in possibly building an enchantment-themed deck, and Sphere of Safety is one of the best cards in it, I think. It protects you very, very well all by itself. As one piece of defense, and then the rest of your deck is just enchantments that are doing things more proactively like the Shrines do. So, very good. And then the last card that is part of this Secret Lair directly, Karmic Guide, which is the Angel. So 5 mana for a 2/2 creature Angel Spirit, flying protection from black with Echo of 3 white. When Karmic Guide enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Just 1 moment more. And Echo, I actually kind of like that they don't have reminder text on Secret Lairs generally. I know that Echo means at the beginning of your next upkeep you have to pay that Echo cost or sacrifice it. The turn after it enters the battlefield. I know that. People who've been playing Karmic Guide for a long time know that, and I know a couple who do. And if you're buying Secret Lairs, then you probably know what the cards in the Secret Lair do. At least, the the ones that aren't brand new cards. So, those are nice. That's all well and good. But there's a surprise in the bottom of this, and it is, a sketch version of Sphere of Safety. And this genuinely was a surprise. I didn't know that this was in here. Okay, and, I ordered it in non-foil, this whole collection, because it was cheaper. And I really just wanted a Carpet of Flowers, which, despite not being a super expensive card, is also just not available at a lot of my local game stores. They just don't have it. So, but yeah, this card comes quite curled. It almost stands on edge. Wow, really pringled here. I don't know if you can... Yeah, you can see that pretty well. Okay, so is this the version that I'm going to play in my deck? It's arguably fancier than the fancy that I paid for. It's shinier, but oh boy. Do I want to try to flatten that Pringle? Well, I haven't built the deck in any capacity yet, so I'm just going to put it under these other cards and under everything else that I opened today, and we'll see if it flattens a bit. I know that there are certain ways that people have talked about recently where they might be able to flatten cards, involve like adjusting the humidity and stuff like that. I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much. For the most part, I've just put these things in sleeves and I've put them in my decks and apply a little pressure, and they never stop curling entirely, but it goes away for the most part. It goes away well enough that I can just play it and it's whatever. So this one, on to the next one here, is Monster Anatomy 101. So this is one that it seems like there's a series of posters and things that show fictional creatures, but as if they're anatomy illustrations you'd find in a biology book. And I've seen that done for Pokemon, and I think those are some wonderful posters. I'd like to have those. But in this case, the only reason why I bought it, the number one reason, Gishoth is in here. Gishoth's son's avatar. And Gishoth is my number one favorite commander for my number one favorite commander deck. I'm big on dinosaurs. I love it. So I got the foil etched edition of this one, and I'm curious to see how it looks. I'm honestly not expecting too much from the foil etched edition, because foil etch has been a couple different things, a few different styles. So I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much about it. Just that I feel like if it's my number one favorite commander and I had the option to get the fanciest version of it possible, I should. I should bling it. I should show it off. I should be proud of it. So, a little hard to get the plastic off of this, though. Okay. I think I got it. Yeah, there. Okay. Got it without harming anything. Okay. So, okay. Let's see if that picks up on camera. Yeah, okay. So the foil etched means that it has a texture to the foiling, and you can see that in the camera. You can see the like stippling to the foiling that's going on there. Okay. Fleet Swallower. Let's see. 5 and 2 blue. Is that something in the art? That little white fleck? I think it's in the art. Yeah. Oh, wait. Is this... Look at that. You see that? And then over here, there's more. Let's see if I can get that in focus. Yeah, there. What is that? Is that supposed to be there? I don't know. Little white, almost like rough-looking areas. It's like it got caught on a roller or something. See, I don't even know. But there's some interesting detail going on in here. Yeah. Like broken ribs on the thing or something. Anyway, just to go over the card itself. 7 mana, 5 colorless, and 2 blue. For a 6/6 creature fish. When Fleet Swallower attacks, target player mills half their library rounded up. So, it's an exciting card. It's fun. Okay. And, also, most of these, like, it makes sense as, like, some giant monster that somebody dissected. Like, logically, that's why they're doing it, is they're learning about giant monsters. But then there's this Trash Master, who's a goblin, who's not giant, and probably has anatomy that isn't too dissimilar from human beings. But it's 2 colorless and 2 red. Okay, once again, there's a little fleck right there. Oh, yeah, okay. I thought I would be able to wipe that off, but no. That is a missing spot of ink. Great. Okay, well, that's part of why I open this stuff on camera. Not just for the views, but also for the visual record of proof that this is how it came. These are very flat, by the way. These are completely flat, so that's nice. And I do like the look and texture of it quite a bit. And if I had a Goblin deck, I'd probably play this card. I don't, but it's a 4 mana 3/3 Goblin Warrior. Other goblins you control get +1/+1. Sacrifice a goblin, destroy target artifact. Great Goblin card. I don't have a Goblin deck. Okay, and the first one was kind of like a pale blue. This one was kind of pink. This one is looking orange. Okay, and all of them seem to have that little rough spot right there. You can see it focuses in right there. I don't know if that is part of the art style or a consistent roller mark or something. Because now we got Ilharg the Razebore. It's got the same kind of thing going on over there and over there. I feel like I'm going to look at the ads at the end of this, like the promotional pictures of what they're supposed to look like to see if that texture is there. From a distance, it's hard to see anyway. But Ilharg the Razebore is a very powerful creature. I don't know that I currently have it in any decks, but it certainly has its place in Commander decks. 3 red for a 6/6, and it's a legendary creature, Boar God. It's got Trample, and whenever Ilharg the Razebore attacks, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Return that creature to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. When Ilharg the Razebore dies, or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. So, in War of the Spark, I believe there were these Amonkhet zombie gods that came over. There were 4 of them, though. The red zombie god, or the red god of Amonkhet, was not zombified. It was not mummified. It was not taken over by Nicol Bolas. And so to complete the cycle, they have Ilharg, who is a god, but native to Ravnica. I believe the Gruul worship him. I believe he's the cause of the Endrays. You may have seen Endrays Forerunners. And he's pretty good. I think that he may be at his best in a Perforos kind of deck, where you can attack with it, drop a creature, trigger Perforos, and then have it come back to your hand and do it over and over again. You could be dropping big creatures, things like that. So, then we go on to Protean Hulk, which, gosh, I'm not sure how good this card is. It's not clear to me, because this card has been banned before, so it should be amazing. But is it... they later then banned the card that it comboed with, which was Flash. So is this card still amazing? Probably. I've never played it in a deck. I tend to not like tutors very much. I tend to not like combos because I don't like my games playing out the same way every time, and this card kind of lends to that. But let's just read it real quick. It's 5 green for a 6/6, so 7 mana for a 6/6. When Protean Hulk dies, search your library for any number of creature cards with total mana value 6 or less, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. And there are a lot of combos that you can do with that, of course. That's a wide variety of creatures you can get, from 1 to more than 6 if you get ones that have a mana value of 0. That's definitely part of some of the combos. Go get a Walking Ballista, put it onto the battlefield with 0 counters, watch it die, get a die trigger. Go get any number of creatures that have effects like that. So, it's probably valuable. It's probably powerful. I don't think I'm going to play it. We come on to the real star, the real reason why I got this. And that is Gishoth, Sun's Avatar. And look at that shine. Look at that sparkle. It is 5 red, green, white for a legendary creature, Dinosaur Avatar. And by the way, the original set that Gishoth was in was Ixalan, and that was like 1 block before they started doing these crowns, I believe. So my commander does not have that kind of crown on it, and I always wanted it to. I'm not a huge fan of the yellow, but that's because it's a multicolored creature. It's a gold creature, so. But I am fond of the shininess and of the crown. So I think that I'll play them both. The current version that I've been playing is the pre-release foil, which I'm so glad that I had the foresight on it, that at the pre-release of this set, I didn't open a Gishoth. I got a little bummed. I was going to buy just a normal version of it, but somebody else at the pre-release opened the foil, as their pre-release card. And I told him I was interested in it, and he said he'd sell it to me. I had $20 cash on me. I figured that would probably be a good deal. So did he. I bought off him for $20 cash. Now, the pre-release foil of Gashoth, last time I checked, was about $110. Gashoth is one of the top 10 most popular commanders, and the pre-release foils on some of these cards are through the roof, as they are the only genuinely rare versions of the cards out there. Even foils, starting in the collector booster box era, are not super rare anymore, but pre-release foils are. Anyway, just to go over the text real quick, as if you couldn't read or aren't aware, if you know me, you've probably seen Gashoth, you've probably been hit by it before. But it is a 7/6 Vigilance Trample Haste. Whenever Gashoth's Sun's avatar deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. Put any number of dinosaur creature cards from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Yeah, so I don't know if the text on Gashoth is any different now than it was originally printed at. I personally love it when there are Oracle updates to rules text on cards, like the original Protean Hulk doesn't reference mana value, of course, but this one does, so I like that. We have more clear, more up-to-date wordings on things. I don't think Gashoth has changed. But that doesn't matter. The only real update here is the crown on top, and I love that I got the fanciest version of Gashoth. Now I can choose between two. I'll probably bring them both. Now, lastly, this video may be going a little long for what you might have been expecting for just opening 3 secret layers. But the last one that I've got today is Stranger Things. And this is kind of a can of worms. Of course, it's the first and only collaboration that Wizard of the Coast has done with Stranger Things so far, with Netflix. Oh, hold on. I jumped the gun. There was a secret card in the back of the Monster Anatomy thing, and I didn't look at it. What is it? It's a forest. It's a foil forest. Okay, well, let's see if I can figure out why I got a foil forest as my bonus card. I have a guess. Oh, come on. Can you get my finger in there? I have a guess as to why I got a foil forest, because I tell you, I've got a lot of forests, and I've even got a lot of foil forests. I've even got a lot of borderless or full art foil forests, many of which are not curled this much. So what is going on here? Well, it's by Elena Danner. Beyond that, I'm not sure quite what I'm looking at here. I'll tell you what I figured is that this might have been one of the Jumpstart foil forests, one of the Jumpstart foil lands, because Jumpstart didn't have foils in it. So there was a bunch of unique art that was commissioned for the basic lands. Some of them are the most thematic and cool basics you've ever seen, with dinosaurs in them, cats in them, angels, books, pirate ships. All the different themes had a special land for them, and some of them were wild. This one looks super normal. I was hoping it might be the dinosaur one, because I do have a dinosaur forest in my dinosaur deck, special for it. But it's not foil because I couldn't find one in foil, because they didn't exist until they started putting them in secret layers recently. So what is this? This is nothing. That's quite a disappointment. I'll look up later and maybe find out, oh, it's this one card from, it's like a Judge promo or forest, or you can only get it from a Grand Prix from 10 years. I don't know. So maybe it's worth some. I mean, it's probably worth something because it's a secret layer card, but a little disappointing because I don't see any reason to play that in any deck. It doesn't fit any theme really. But okay, Stranger Things. Oh, so the box on this one inside is red, because it's that's like the color scheme of Stranger Things, I guess. It's that deep red, that blood red. And yeah, I think there was a foil version and a not foil version. I got the not foil version because it was cheaper, and I do like Stranger Things. I am a fan. And I mentioned before this is kind of a can of worms because this is the second time that Wizard of the Coast has done mechanically unique cards that are a tie-in to outside IP. First time famously was The Walking Dead. And a lot of people, myself included, were rather upset about The Walking Dead Secret Lair for a variety of reasons. Whether it be a show that had very mature themes, not in the sense that it was like, oh, there's zombies in it and that's spooky or whatever, but like, much more problematic subject matter in there that I won't go into detail about, but it's not just the zombies that are monsters, it's some of the people that are monsters, and it's a really sometimes grotesque and brutal show that I watched for the first, I think, 7 seasons. There's one pivotal episode late in there that I will avoid spoilers on if you are interested in it, but for a lot of people, myself included, it was like, no, this is a show that's just trying to be mean to its audience, that's just trying to be shocking, just thinking that that's what'll get you views, and people talked about it and then kind of faded away after that as far as I'm concerned. So I jumped ship. But also it was the availability that it was only available for a brief period of time, I believe a week, maybe less. I think it was a week. Some of these Secret Lairs were available for only a day, but I think they widened it to a week for a lot of these. And it was only available in certain regions and only in English. So if you were in another country, you might not have been able to... It was either more expensive to ship it to you, or you might not have had the option to ship it to you at all. If you're in Brazil or China or something, completely out of luck. Japan, I think, a lot of countries. And then that meant that because the accessibility was so low, you have these cards that... the fear was that a lot of them would be like really pushed, and they're legal in Legacy and Vintage, not just Commander, that then these would be incredibly expensive cards a lot of people had never had a chance to get, or if you didn't have money that week, too bad, you're out of luck, and they'll never be printed in any accessible set, never in any booster pack or anything like that. And then this is doing some of the same stuff, but I believe that they are opening these up to more regions, so it's more available. It was available for, I think, 2 weeks, not one. The subject matter isn't quite as controversial, as The Walking Dead was. And possibly most importantly is that before this series came out, they confirmed that any mechanically unique universes beyond Magic cards like these ones will, besides just being marked with this little triangle down there so you know which ones we're talking about, will be reprinted with in-universe Magic themed alternates, where it will have a different name, a different art, might have the little crown thing under it. I think they said that they wouldn't do that, but I liked how Godzilla did it, where it had like the original name underneath it. I think they're not doing that, though, because I think they don't have the rights to reproduce the name on a product that isn't for them. But in any case, those cards will be reprinted, and they'll be in set boosters. And set boosters are a pretty bad way to reprint things normally to get the quantity up and the availability up. However, they said that these cards will be appearing in set boosters at a much higher rate than other cards do. They said something like half of the list cards that you open will be from the Secret Lairs. So that ought to do it. That ought to make these cards available enough in booster packs that people can buy on a store shelf in other languages and stuff, that the cards themselves, like Rick's Steadfast Leader or something, will be available to people. Now, sorry to say all that while I have a card on the screen here, but I felt like I needed to talk about that subject, because if you're watching my videos, hopefully you enjoy listening to me chatter and update about what's going on with these things. But in any case, the card itself, Mind Flayer here, the Shadow, 4 black for a legendary enchantment creature horror. And yeah, there's a lot of text on this, and it's pretty small. It's Yeah, 7 mana, 9/9. Mind Flayer the Shadow isn't a creature unless you control 3 or more permanents you don't own. Okay, so you have to steal your opponent's stuff in order for this to come to life. That fits. At the beginning of your end step, exile the bottom card of each opponent's library face down. For as long as those cards remain exiled, you may look at them and may cast permanent spells from among them, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. So this is really cool as a big black commander. You can cast things out of your opponent's library, permanents, and it can be any color, and it comes to life as a 9/9 once you have 3 of them. That's pretty sick. I like it. And it's an enchantment creature that could have some synergies. I don't know, mono black. Could be fun. I get it. You know what this one was? It was upside down. Good one. You got me. Chief Jim Hopper is 2 colorless and a red and a white, so 4 mana, 4/4. He's a legendary creature, human soldier. This is actually kind of a stretch on the term soldier here. I'm not sure if Hopper is a veteran as a character in this show. I think he could be. Perhaps I could buy that. I don't remember if he ever mentioned it. But he's a cop. That's what he is. He's like the sheriff of Hawkins, Indiana. So cops are soldiers? Well, I mean, in America, maybe they are. They kind of are. Well, in any case, he's got Menace. Whenever Chief Jim Hopper attacks, investigate once for each non-token attacking creature. And he has Friends Forever. You can have 2 commanders if both have Friends Forever. Track the rot. See how far it goes. Okay, oh, and the art does extend behind the rules text a little bit. It's dim. It's hard. It's low opacity and whatever. So you can read the text better. But and yeah, that's not just a photograph. That's a drawing, almost a caricature, considering how like bulky he is here, by Greg Staples. Who's a classic Magic the Gathering artist. Been with the company for decades, I believe. I don't know who Isis is. Oh, no. Oh, no. Isis. Who knows? I think I've seen their name as an illustrator on other Magic cards before. But so how good are these cards? I don't know. A lot of them make clues, and so they all kind of overlap, mostly on the clue making stuff and artifact stuff, so who knows. But it has Friends Forever, which is the same thing as Partner, except it has a different name, which means that you cannot partner Chief Jim Hopper with Vial Smasher or Thrasios, but you can partner Chief Jim Hopper with Dustin, Gadget Genius. 2, a white and a blue for legendary creature, human. Dustin is too young to have a profession. He's a 2/3. And can tap to add 2 colorless. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate artifact abilities. And he has Friends Forever. So not super strong, but that's probably for the best if he's going to be a partner. If you haven't caught on, pretty much all the hero characters from the show are here, and they are all Friends Forever with each other. In fact, yeah, literally Friends Forever, Friends Forever, Friends Forever, Friends Forever, Friends Forever, Friends Forever. Okay. That's all in the theme of the show. Oh, and if you didn't notice, yeah, the Mind Flayer is not a Friend Forever. No. He would not be. So, yeah, you can have 2 of these as your commander, and you can kind of like mix and match to get all kinds of different color combinations. And as I mentioned before, most of them have to do with artifacts, with investigating to make clues. With tapping 2 colors, you can spend to activate abilities of artifacts, like to sack a clue to draw a card. Let's see, I think 11 is the one that doesn't care about that. 11 has like some interesting mechanics here. She's 4 mana in Grixis colors. Interesting because she's like a heroic figure, but she kind of has to be taught to be heroic because she's raised wrong on purpose. 3/5 for 4. Your maximum hand size is 11. I actually love that. That's cute. I think that's a good way of doing it, because her hand size is usually seen as like some mental ability. So she has like supernatural mental ability. I like that. And an 11 is a number that's like harmless to put there. Sure, might as well be infinite, but whenever 11, the mage, attacks, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Then, if you have 11 or more cards in your hand, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. So she is a spellcaster. And, she says up there, the mage, because, they play Dungeons & Dragons in the show. They must have got some collaboration with Wizards of the Coast to approve that in the first place. So I believe in her group, they occasionally talk about each other as their like roles in their D&D party. And yeah, she's the mage. She's the only one who can genuinely cast spells, basically, having psychic powers. And so yeah, she can cast a spell from your hand. It's weird though that it says, oh, never mind. Okay, I thought I read it as you draw a card and discard a card. No, you draw a card and lose a life. Okay, yeah, 11 seems pretty good as a commander on her own. And then she's got Friends Forever. So you could add one of these other characters to it. Maybe not Dustin. I don't know, Jim? Because when you attack, when he attacks... Yeah. 11, I think, might be the most powerful of them. And then you just got to figure out which one you want to combine it with. 3 colors is a lot. You add Jim Hopper and you're in 4 colors. So I don't know if you want to go that road. But Lucas would allow you to keep in the same colors. He's the cheapest one mana-wise. At just a red and a blue. Legendary creature, human. 1/3. Tap, sack an artifact. Lucas, the sharpshooter, deals 1 damage to target creature. Goad that creature. So he is a pinger. He reminds me a little bit of that goblin that makes rocks that has a partner on it. But the rest of these are investigating and making clues, and then this one you can sack the clues to nail a Demogorgon and piss it off and make it attack you. Great. Max the Daredevil. I really liked her as a character in this show. Honestly, I'm just very much pro any media that shows like girl gamers. I want there to be more acceptance of girl gamers in Magic, in video games, in everything. And let's be real, they're the coolest of us. So, Max the Daredevil. Colorless are red and a green. Legendary creature human, 3/2 with haste. That seems powerful right off the bat, above curve. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, untap target creature, then investigate. So just cast 2 spells and bada bing, bada boom. You get a clue and you untap a creature. That seems really good. And then she has Friends Forever, of course. So, love it. Mike the Dungeon Master. Gosh, Finn Wolfhard has grown up quite a bit since this, when this illustration depicts back in season 1. Although, God, I did actually probably look a lot like him when I was like 10. But blonder. I was blonder back then. So, Mike the Dungeon Master. Colorless, a green and white for legendary creature human, 2/2. 2 colorless and tap. Choose target creature card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. Return it to the battlefield tapped. And he has Friends Forever. Despite being arguably the main character or like the protagonist or whatever, I mean, you could also argue that the 11 is the main character. Mike kind of discovers her and teaches her things. I don't know. But despite being arguably the protagonist, this might be the worst of the cards here. Just like 2 mana and tap to do anything. He's not a good attacker, not a good blocker. Doesn't interact with the clues that other people are making. It only resurrects a creature that died this turn and returns them tapped. Whew. I mean, 2 is kind of cheap for resurrecting a creature, but still, he's got nothing else going on. I don't like this card at all. Lastly, we have Will the Wise. Let's see. And also, like, I was born in the 80s, but I did not grow up in the 80s. I was born in 86, so the 80s were over by the time I was 4. So I don't really remember them myself. I'm more of a 90s kid. So even though I do see myself a little bit in Mike or Will looking back on these, because I was, a young nerd in the pre-internet age, it was more like, 5 to 10 years later than when this show is set. So these kids are not my age, like canonically. Heck, they'd be like 40, 42 now. But in any case, Will the Wise, colorless, a white and a black for a 1/2 legendary creature human. When Will the Wise enters or leaves the battlefield, each opponent may investigate. Each opponent who doesn't loses 1 life. You investigate X times, where X is 1 plus the number of opponents who investigated this way. Friends forever. So he wants other people to investigate. I saw someone try to build a deck with him, and it was awkward because they didn't have the card yet, and it was some proxy that didn't look very good. And then, I don't know, there was some confusion about how it was supposed to be played, but in any case, this is a lovely little collection, and of course the clue at the end there is the famous Christmas light alphabet setup from Season 1. So that's what a clue does, because most of these care about clues. And then the surprise card at the back, I believe I know the surprise card in the back. It is the Hawkins National Laboratory. Let me go ahead and pop that out here. Hopefully it's not as curled as some of the other ones. And hopefully I don't have to apply too much pressure to get it open. Oh, come on. Okay, got a little bit of it actually open here. There we go. Feel free to critique my technique. Some people probably look at some of these little bits and really cringe, but oh god. Okay, so Hawkins National Laboratory, and this is not foil, and yet it is still bent because it was alone in this kind of packaging at the back of the box. So it's still bent a bit. It's because of the packaging. But it's a legendary land that taps for a colorless, or for 4 and tap you can investigate. At the beginning of your end step, if you sacrificed 3 or more clues this turn, transform Hawkins National Laboratory. Today we make history. Today we make contact. Then you flip it over, and it's upside down. The upside down. Legendary land. When this land transforms into the upside down, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. When the creature put onto the battlefield with the upside down leaves the battlefield, transform the upside down. Tap, pay 1 life, add a black. I like this a lot. In black decks, heck yeah, I will play this. I have black decks that this will go in. So actually, out of all the cards that we just saw here today, Gishoth is definitely seeing play as an alternate for the commander that I'm already playing. The Sphere of Safety will go in a deck if I build it. The Shrine deck. The Carpet of Flowers will go in a deck if I build that one. The Rafika the Many deck. The rest of these are just kind of for my collection. I may build a deck with Max or 11 or something. I may not. Hawkins National Laboratory, I think, just goes in a black deck, especially if you have other investigate mechanics going on. But even if you don't, just put it in there. Why not? So that is my analysis and discussion of every card in my 3 secret layers here, which, okay. Yeah. Big curling going on here. Well, I'm going to lay them flat under something that'll compact them a little bit. We'll see if we can get that sorted. But other than that, I hope you have a great day, and I intend to get more packs to be opening. I intend to be making more content in the future. I'm a big Commander player, so I may be doing deck techs, discussion videos, possibly gameplay if I can get that together. So let me know if you'd be interested in any of those things coming from me. I obviously have a lot to say about the game. I've been playing it for over 20 years. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.